Alright, so I wanted to make another video with the Simplifier MK2 and also featuring the Boss NS-2 noise suppressor. So I've used this one for a long time and even explained this one in another video on Instagram recently. But I thought that I might showcase a few different things about this. Some people have made a meme about calling this the nothingizer. And as you can hear right now, there is a little bit of hum in the guitar signal. That turn, yeah, and that's really because it's coming from here, because I've got it set to Marshall, full stacks and everything, and then pretty high on the pre-gain. The post-gain is getting up there as well, and volume set kind of normal. That's what my sound is. Getting kind of close to clipping on that, so I might bring that down just a little bit. Just bring it right down on there. But as you can still hear, there's a little bit of that hum, so I can understand why some people that call this the nothingizer would get that, because right now I'm running just guitar into this. I'm using a LTD guitar with active EMG pickups, so kind of a hotter signal coming through this. I figured that would be better for demonstrating the noise suppressor than something clean. So depending on the style that you're playing or anything, this really might not be doing much for you. And right now, it's not doing a ton. You can see by this little light right here when it's actually gated or when it's open and closing right there. But it's not really taking away that noise. Even when I turn this off, there's not a huge tonal difference. And I know people say that this will zap the tone sometimes, but I can't hear that huge of a difference plugged in this way. Let me plug this in a different way, though. We'll see if we can find a way that this might make a little bit more difference. Before I do, though, just if I crank this up, you see the noise floor gets a lot higher, and this is really doing nothing because I'm plugging into this, then into this, and then that's what you're hearing. So we'll see if we can figure something else out for this. Alright, so I've got this thing plugged up a little bit differently now. It might be a little hard to see what's going on, but let me explain. I'm running from my guitar into the input of the pedal, then I'm coming out of the send of the noise suppressor and into the input of this thing. Then I'm coming out the effects loop into the return of the noise suppressor, and then coming out of finally from the output back into the return from here. So right now you can hear that there's no noise like what we had before. If I play, much more responsive to it there. So this way it's actually doing something. If I turn the pedal off, you'll hear that noise. There it goes. There we go. And when I play, now, the one thing about having it this way is that it's kind of a delicate balance. This pedal I use pretty much like this all the time, with the threshold at the max and the decay at the minimum. I believe that's what we got there. Yeah, threshold, max, decay on the minimum. And I just kind of leave it like that. That's a good setting for this pedal. Some noise gates that are more powerful, you kind of have to balance with that a little bit. That's one of the reasons I like this. But you can see that's actually doing something right now. However, if I kind of balance it out, like let's say I turn this up, it's still taking it, but it's kind of gating it a little funny. Hear that? That's kind of weird, you know. See, it's not even sure if it wants to be open. You change the threshold. That helps some. We see it's still kind of like trying to decide how fast it wants to cut off there even. It's holding steady. When it cuts on, is it going to cut off? It's taking a little while. Okay, so it's not doing much right now. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Slowly coming back on. See, it's kind of skipping open a little bit there. me taking my fingers off the strings, it's making noise, where right now it's making a little bit. But I can balance this out. I'm getting a lot of the gain from the pre-gain, so I don't really need this up near as much. I can turn that down and then kind of balance it out with the volume. If it's just all the way off. So still not doing a ton there in this mode. I'll show you one more and then let you see which one you like the best. All right, so this is the final way that I want to show this plugged up. So now I'm plugging straight into the simplifier, then running from the send from there into the input of the pedal, out of the output, and just into the return. So pretty high gain sound there, but still pretty quiet, and I feel like it's a little easier to tame and dial in than going through the whole send return thing. And like I said, I'm using active pickups, which is the only guitar that I have that has this, so if I was running it that way, I feel like I would need to make a lot more adjustments on this thing if I was switching guitars. Say mid-set, something happens, so that's something I want to take into consideration. So this is probably the most effective, not perfect, but still pretty responsive there. If you were doing like some Pantera type of may not be the tightest, for that. It's still taking it's not an instant close. Maybe if I pull this back just a little bit, maybe a little less on the volume. Still takes it a second to respond there, so that might be something to take into consideration if you're thinking about this, or the Decimator, or the Zool, or the Sentry, or any of the other noise gates that are out there on the market. But this would just kind of be considered a feature of these two things together. Obviously, there's a lot of other settings that I could have gone through as well, but just want to give you a basic overview of this. I hope that this is helpful for you. Thanks.